Welcome to the Gospel according to Kinison on this beautiful Happy Mother's Day. The reason I'm still slowed down a little bit when I said beautiful, it's over 100 degrees here in San Antonio, Sherry. But our granddaughter played softball yesterday and did great. Hit two doubles and drove in 5 runs, and so they're in the playoffs. Anyway, that's enough about me. This is about mothers, and we want to wish everybody. I am your illustrious host. I am the man, Bill Kinison, and I look forward to this. And standing here looking at me is probably the most beautiful mother that I know.
Yes, your mother's gone and my mother's gone and now it's me, huh?
No, it's always been you, babe. It's always.
Good morning, Nancy Williams. Happy Mother's Day.
Yes, to her and Dave.
Jack Friedman, yes. Tell everybody to like the...
Please like
or subscribe to the Gospel According to Kinison.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need them to subscribe to the YouTube, Gospel According to Kinison. And I guess if we get so many up, then Facebook promotes it or something. Anyway, it's very important. So subscribe to the Gospel According to Kinison on YouTube.
And today's good morning, Don and Cheryl Morin.
Don and Cheryl Morin, they don't have any children. I'm going to tell you something. They probably have more children than anybody I know because they take in everybody. And they are a giving people.
And it's a special day for us because it's a double celebration. We have Happy Mother's Day and our baby girl Scarlett turned 10.
Don't say that happy, Sherry.
We're getting...
You know, we're trying to keep this up.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day and Scarlett turned 10.
I want her to stay little.
Well, that went by so fast, but I guarantee you to her, it took forever to get there. And we were out till 10 o'clock last night buying her a BMX bike.
She had her mind set.
Well, that's one thing. I don't know if she got that from Grandma or Grandpa, but boy, when she sets her mind, I think she got it from you. And so we went from store to store to store until we finally found a BMX that she liked. And I've told you many times that she extended my life. When she came into this world, she renewed my youth. And it just was a pump of energy, and she was a Papa's girl, and I love her, and I love her more than anything. She is the sweetest, and God has just given her an athletic ability. Actually, you know what it is? He has given her an ability at anything she wants to do. I don't care if it's martial arts, or softball, or dance, or gymnastics. We could go on down. She now is on the swimming team at our spa that we belong to. And I think it's because she's been raised by a grandfather and grandmother and a mother and a father that teach her she can do whatever she wants to do. Nothing can be restrained from her. So we want to wish a happy birthday to my granddaughter, Scarlett.
And happy Mother's Day to all you wonderful friends of mine. Misty, thank you so much for that this morning. You just brought laughter to my heart.
She tried to share it, but I don't know if Facebook won't let you or what.
It won't share.
And we do want to thank everyone. You've had so many Mother's Day wishes today, and we want to thank everyone for that. And I just want to talk about the mother of my daughter, Ginger, a little bit. We started out our life as teenagers with each other. I was 19, and we eventually got married, and I guess 4 years after that, we got married. We went through that stage of our life. For some of you that would like to know, Sherry and I are writing a book, so don't expect it out next week or next month. It takes a while. And the theme of the book is that life is in chapters. And so we're writing a book on the chapters of our life. And now we've got to that, getting that older chapter. And at first, Sherry, and I told you several days ago, at first, I wasn't too excited about this. I wasn't too excited about getting older. Not that I felt older, it's just that other people look at you and they treat you older. I want to be just treated the way I've been my whole life. And so I was kind of resenting it. And then I remember one morning I got up and it was like God just put in my heart that I need to embrace it. I need to enjoy it. And I was almost like, why? And it was because you get to spend more time with your wife, with Sherry. And I'm not even being funny right now. Now I like being old because think of the families, the Thomases this year, that father's no longer there, that husband's no longer there. Danny James family, that mother and that wife is no longer there. And we could go on and on. Matter of fact, we lost a good friend this week. Mike Haggerty. Mike Haggerty, a very good friend. I think a comedic genius. If you're ever around, be able to sit with him and talk, which we were so fortunate to be able to do. He was amazing. He was came from Second City, there in Chicago, and came to L.A. He was on Friends, Seinfeld, show after show after show, but he was my friend, and he was Sherry's friend. We got to be friends, and he transitioned this week, and so our prayers go out to his wife and the Haggerty family and the friends of Mike. And we've lost so many friends this year, Sherry, and in the last year, and comedic friends.
And family.
I'll never forget, we went to, I was invited, which I counted as a real privilege. I was invited to the 50th anniversary of the Comedy Store. And I hadn't seen a lot of, well, most of them I hadn't seen in 30 years, personally. And now I remember I was talking to Jimmy J.J. Walker, Dynamite. And I was talking to him, and as I was talking to him, I go, Jimmy, they're old. And I'll never forget, because he's quite a bit taller than me, and put his arm on my shoulder and said, Bill, that's what happens. We get old and we die. And I thought it was pretty, at the time I thought it was, and still do it was bittersweet. Because I don't know under what conditions I would see a lot of those friends that I had 30 years ago. And, but I'm glad that I have a wife that she's been more than a wife to me. She has been part of me. I don't think I would have been the person I am. And believe me, it's very difficult to say this with her standing here looking at me. So don't break down or we're both going to be bawling on the camera. But I would not be the person that I am without Sherry. I'll give you a little story. We bought a beautiful, and I'm going to post a picture of it this week on Facebook, a beautiful cathedral in Peoria, Illinois. Just, I can't describe it to you. Catholic folks will love this. This was Bishop Sheen's old parish. And Catholic folks know who Bishop Sheen was. And we were fortunate enough by a miracle to buy this. And Sherry, we put out thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on advertising that were opening this church. And then I kept trying to ignore a scripture in the Bible where Jesus went back to Nazareth. And a lot of people don't realize Jesus had 4 brothers, and the Bible doesn't say that how many sisters he had, but he had more than one because he said sisters. And yet when you watch his ministry, even while he's being crucified, the only family member there is his mother. And it said that he did not do many miracles there. And Jesus made this statement, a prophet is with honor, save in his own land. Other words, everyone else can see what God is in him sometimes, but his own family. And I felt like that kind of when we opened this church in Peoria, because I was raised in Peoria, and I'll never forget, Sherry and I was all ready to go. We've got a great organist, Gary Chris and his beautiful wife, Chris. And man, I think it was a Sunday morning, wasn't it, Sherry?
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, I think it was a Sunday morning in September. I don't remember the exact date. But I'll never forget, I was back in the office, and Sherry said, well, we need to start church. And I go, how many have we got? And she said, well, 4. Except for the crew that we're paying. And I go, 4? And she said, yeah, you have 4. Well, this place seated like 600. And I told her, I'll never forget, I told her, I said, Sherry, go out and tell them I'm not going to be ministering this morning. To come back at a later date when we can get this built up and we'll start. And she said, no, you said, and I guess you remember this, Sherry, you said God told you to come here. You said God gave you this church. Now, get out there and preach to these people. Oh, if y'all could see her, she's just laughing her tail off right now. And so I did, and God did. He did bless us, and we eventually filled that place. And but that's the strength that Sherry's always given to me. I believe there are some people that God just puts together, and I believe God put Sherry and I together. We had the same foundation of belief, and so she understood the ministry. I think it's very, very, very difficult to be a preacher's wife and not to have been a preacher's daughter. I don't think it's impossible, but it's close to it. And but the other thing that Sherry had, that I had, is that she made decisions and she did things according to how she felt, her intuition. And I had that. And Sherry, we have done some bizarre things in our life, all because we felt to do it. And every single time, God has blessed us. God has blessed us. So I want to wish a happy Mother's Day. She brought Ginger into this world. And I'll never forget when she decided she wanted to have a child. And we had been married at that time for about 5 years. Yeah, about 7 years. Anyway, and so finally she told me, she said, hey, I think I want to have a child. So I said, all right, well, we practiced enough, so I think we can do it. And she said, I want to have it before I'm 30. And she was 29 at that time. And she got pregnant and brought Ginger into this world about, 3 weeks maybe before she turned 30. And brought Ginger, our beautiful daughter, into this world. And all of a sudden, Sherry and I cannot remember just the two of us. Now it was 3, and it seemed like it was always 3. And then Ginger went and she brought beautiful Scarlett at her birthday today into this world, and then blessed us with Finnegan, a little boy that we just adore. So happy Mother's Day to every one of you. Sherry, I got to tell this story because every Mother's Day I cannot get over it. He's a preacher now, Charlie Brown.
Oh, yeah.
And we were pastoring in Rockford, Illinois, packed church, and he was sitting down front. We made a big deal every Mother's Day, to the oldest mother, the youngest mother, the one with the most children, and all that kind of stuff. Well, at the end, we gave a gift to everyone, every mother in the church. So I said, I'd like to have the mothers to stand, and Charlie was sitting in the front pew, and he stood. And like an idiot, I went, Charlie, why are you standing? And he said, well, everybody be calling me mother, so I thought I ought to stand. And I tell that story almost every Mother's Day. It just blesses me. And so I want to get into our lesson. We probably used half of our program already, but that's all right.
Go ahead.
I want to get into our lesson. And if you're going to put a title on this, I want to put, Don't Lie to Yourself. You know, we can lie to other people. Some of us can even lie to God. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. This is a lesson about lies. And not the everyday, what I call white lies that we use to sometimes spare someone's feelings, usually our own. Not big ones like, well, I'd never do that to hurt Susie, and you know it's a lie. These are lies that damage you more than those do. These are lies to the soul. That's the lies I want to talk about. These are lies we send down inside ourselves that convince us we don't have any power. That's a lie. Don't lie to yourself. This lesson is to uncover a racket. The racket of conning ourselves into believing that we are helpless. That's a racket. That's not true. That's a lie. This racket talks us into believing in our weaknesses rather than our strengths. Think about it. That's a lie. We would rather believe that we can't do anything rather than to believe we can do it. Operating on a small percentage of our potential will usually lead to a life of misery because you never did live up to your potential. You believed the lies that you were telling yourself. We speak these lies of how defeated we are so that we can stifle any flames of inspiration or flames of the Spirit. We'd rather just lie to ourselves that we're defeated. I'm not defeated. I've never been defeated. All of our lives roll out. They just continue. Your whole life. Then you wonder why you feel like a failure. You wonder why that success seems to always elude you. Why? You lie to yourself. It just keeps on rolling. About like my grandfather used to sing in church a song that said, floating down the stream of life. Well, that's exactly how it happens. You see, every lie, every lie we tell ourselves is based on one thing. Every lie you tell yourself is based on fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of uncertainty. Fear of being courageous. Fear of evolving. Fear of creating. I look around, and I look at our country, and I go, how in the world did we get in this mess? Why? Why would we get in this mess? You know why it is? Because we lie. We lie to ourselves. Our government lies to us. The politicians lie to us. People you know lie to you. And then you, the worst of all, you lie to yourself that you have to bow down to that. No, I am not. I will be courageous. I am not afraid of uncertainty. I will walk my life with confidence. Why? It doesn't depend on the inflation. My life doesn't depend on the price of gas. It doesn't depend on the price of food. It doesn't depend on the immigration problem. My life depends on God in me. God will always meet my demand, not my supply, my demand. I want it to meet my desires. I don't want to just get by. I want to overcome, as he said in the Bible. So every lie we tell ourselves is based on fear. Like a fool. I remember when my brother Richard and I started out in the ministry. And if you ever seen The Natural with Robert Redford, a great baseball movie, well, Richard could be the natural in the ministry. Born severely mentally handicapped, born blind. I was born normal, so to speak. I went to Bible college. I went to secular school. I went to secular college. Rich had to have a miracle to graduate high school. Yet, all the teaching I had in Bible college, I learned more from Rich than I did all of that combined, and yet he couldn't sit down and tell you how to do it. He just did it. He just did it. And so I remember telling God, I remember our very first service, our very first booking, the plan was Rich would lead the song service and I would preach. Well, Rich didn't have a stop button. So by the time he got through, he had already sang, preached, took up the offering and prayed for everybody. And I'm sitting on that platform and I'm thinking, and I start talking to God in my spirit. The Lord, if you don't give me something, if you don't give me something special, this partnership isn't going to work out. And so the next night, I started having these unctions. I was afraid of being a fool. But I would call somebody out, and to me they looked like they had heart trouble. I thought everybody in this place could tell they got heart trouble. It shocked me when everybody couldn't tell that. And I kept using that. And a lot of times we'd have 2 services a day. So twice a day I would call people out. Pretty soon I got to where I could tell them their name. I could tell them how many children they had. I could tell them what the doctor's report was. And we'd see miracles. And I thought that was great until I read Paul, and I think we ministered on it maybe last few weeks. If not, we will. Where Paul said, desire the best gift, whatever one you think is the best. Healing, word of knowledge, prophecy, what? Use it until it never misses. And then he said, I'll show you a more excellent way. Well, that's exactly what God did for me. And instead of being afraid of being made a fool, God made me stand for greatness. For greatness. Those fears that you have, that you face every day, they inspire lies to your soul. You may not even realize it. But every time you go, I can't. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how this is going to end up. Those are lies. Don't believe the lies. Somebody said, why do we do that? Because those lies give us an easier way to go every time. It's easier just to believe a lie, you can't do something, than have the faith and have the power to do something. They remove us. Lies remove us from daring actions. It removes us from commitments. If something doesn't quite work out well, I kind of always thought that I'd be a failure. That's a lie. It causes you from creating a future in the face of uncertainty to being successful. Don't believe the lies. You see, the truth is, we don't want to experience. We don't have to experience a river of fear. That's the truth. The truth is, we are powerful. Woo! Man, I feel good this morning. The truth is, we can take our lives into our own hands. That no one else can bother. Doesn't make any difference if it's President Biden or what it is. It doesn't make any difference. You control your own life. They cannot control that for you. You see, power grows in us the moment that a dream, you have a dream, the moment that transforms into your desire, goes from being a dream to a desire, going from a dream that, oh man, that'd be great if that could happen, to a desire that it's going to happen. Somehow, I'm going to work it out. That creates action. Oh man. Somebody said, what if I get the wrong desire? You can't get it, because it said that God will give you the desires of your heart. We always thought that meant, well, you know, if I have a desire, God will give it to me. No, He gives you the desires because you have the tools to get and achieve what you really want to have. See, that's when the magic happens. I want to tell you about a man named Roger Bannister. This is what happened to this man. He overcame physical obstacles. At one time in his life, they thought he wouldn't even be able to walk. And he became the first human being ever to run what they call a 4-minute mile, to break the 4-minute barrier. Now that doesn't seem like much now, because you have high school kids that can run a 4-minute mile. But back then, no, that was impossible. That's what he was told. And it became more than a goal to him. It became more than a dream to him. It became a desire. So his mind expanded to let that new power in, that he could do that. He was in England. He was an Englishman. Prior to Bannister, the running world had feared that the human body simply wasn't constructed to run the mile in under 4 minutes. That's just what the experts said. We believed it. We lied to ourselves. But since that time, many more people have overcome the fear inside of them and have accomplished even bigger things than that. Hope you're getting this morning. See, there's many people over 60 that are now bettering earlier Olympic times and gold medals and set by runners in their 20s for the mile. Now 60-year-old men that you're never going to know are bettering the records in the 40s, the 50s. I remember watching on TV this week a man 70 years old. I think he was running the 100-meter race. And he got in there and he won. He won the 100-meter race in, I think, like 13.4 seconds. 70 years old. Somebody said, well, that's a rare situation. No, he believed it. That was his desire. That's what drove him. You see, many say that these faster running times are just because of better vitamins, training, nutrition, but that doesn't really explain it, and I'll show you why. Roger Bannister trained over a 14-year period that England rationed their food. Does that mean you're going good? Mm-hmm. They rationed their food. So he didn't get the vitamins, the nutritions, and all that, but he had something better than that. During that, and somebody said, well, yeah, but you know, look at them now. Well, no. Over that same period of time, of Roger Bannister till now, I want you to look at something. They had the Kentucky Derby yesterday. Matter of fact, the horse that won was an 80-1 odds. Horses have had better training and better nutrition They even have had controlled breeding to make them faster, make them better. Now listen, yet such astounding improvements in the times of racehorses has not occurred. They're running like they did before. So it wasn't that. It's got to be something greater than that. It's got to be the desire and the drive that you have. You see, human athletic accomplishments keep soaring beyond what anyone believed. I watch basketball now, and that's not the game I knew when I played. They have soared way beyond any of that, or baseball, or football. You see, human scientific accomplishments keep soaring as well. Human technological accomplishments, they're keeping pace. They're soaring too. Why? The desire. The reason is simple. Human beings are finding greater and greater power within their minds. Oh, man. Hope you're getting this. Human beings are learning to stop lying about their limits. They've learned to stop lying that they can't do something. They can do it. We can replace a river of lies that our life had been with a river of dreams. Start dreaming. Start imagining what you can have. It's the same imagination that creates both. That will create that river of lies, or will create that river of dreams. So why not take the dreams? I love you. We're going to be here next week. I'm going to do something next week. The Lord willing, that's why I changed my mind. I really don't talk about much about the comedy and entertainment business. But I'm going to minister or teach next week on it's not who you know. And I'm going to tell you my experience as a managing Sam. One of the most talented stand-up comedians of all time. It's not who you know. Next week I'm going to tell you what it is. Heavenly Father, I thank you for this time of gathering. I thank you for this time of teaching, and I thank you for opening their hearts to receive. Now let this seed of desire rest in each one of us, that we control our life. We control our destiny. I ask you to heal those that need a healing. Bless those that need finances. Lift those up that are in depression. God, let them know that the power's within them, not in somebody else. And I'll give you all the praise. Amen. I love you. Sherry loves you. God loves you. God bless America.